Are you looking for all the latest pro football news and content? Of course you are. Who doesn't love football? The question is, how do you get all the latest pro football news and content? There's so many different pro football podcasts on the internet. Which one do you choose? Which one is the right fit for you? Well, you go with the Cross the Middle Show, one of the fastest growing football podcasts out right now. Over the past year, we've climbed the Spotify rankings, became a show you have to listen to if you're a football fan. Find out if the Ravens will go all the way with Odell Beckham Jr. Find out if the Eagles did enough to make it back to the Super Bowl. You'll get all of our best stories for just $1 per month. All you have to do is sign up by clicking the link in the episode description box. I'm John Kuzma. This is the Cross the Middle Show, where we talk about all the latest pro football news and action. We got the Quinnen Williams story. He's got a new contract, a 4-year, $96 million deal. We'll also talk a little bit about Brock Purdy. Let's start with Quinnen Williams. So Quinnen Williams, new contract, well-deserved, a guy that's been absolutely sensational for the Jets, a guy that makes everybody around him better just because he's so good at getting penetration into the offensive backfield to the point where it starts collapsing the pocket, the play starts breaking down for the offense, and it just becomes chaos because you can't execute with Quinnen Williams on the opposite side of the ball. He's eventually going to get in the backfield. He's going to cause some problems to the offense. We know that's the case. I mean, I just watched the guy's film. I mean, how many times did he slice through the offensive line effortlessly? And it's not just him being able to put pressure on the quarterback, too. I mean, the guy is so good at sniffing out run plays. I mean, he can slice through the offensive line, blow plays up in the offensive backfield, stuffs running backs in their tracks. So good at doing those things. I think one thing that really stands out about Quinnen Williams is, a lot of times when people bull rush, they're not in control. They have to exert so much energy to bull rush that they can't really sense what's going on around them because they're exerting so much energy in their bull rush that they kind of lose track of everything else. That's not the case with Quinnen Williams at all. His bull rush is so under control, and he's so good at reading the play and figuring out where the play is going or where the ball's going that it makes him a really special defensive tackle because, when he hits you with that initial punch and then he starts driving that offensive guard backwards, he's always looking to see where the play is going, and that's how he can get to a lot of those run plays and, get TFLs and make those tackles for a loss in the backfield. It's amazing stuff. Quinnen Williams is a really good player. So good with that bull rush, so good at being able to read the play while bull rushing simultaneously. We talk about linebackers being instinctive all the time. He's a defensive tackle that's instinctive. He's more than just a guy that's just winning at the line of scrimmage. He's flowing to the play. And that's such a good compliment for a defensive tackle to be able to do those things and be able to have a pursuit, I guess you can say. You always think about defense ends having pursuit, linebackers flowing to the ball, having pursuit. He's a defensive tackle that gets in his pursuit and runs these plays down. I mean, it's awesome to watch. You just don't see that often. A lot of those guys that are on the defensive line like that, they're not that athletic, or if they are athletic, they lose a lot when it comes to their strength. Quinnen Williams has the strength and he's athletic, so he can do both those things so well. He's got that great initial punch, always blows the guard backwards right away. Then his head's up. He's looking to see where the play is going. Then he flows right to the play, makes the tackle. Works a good swim move at times. He'll hit that initial punch, and then he'll work a swim move right to the quarterback. He's athletic enough where you can use him on loops and twists, and he can come around behind on a twist or a loop and come off that edge and get to the quarterback too. So many things that the guy can do, and so good at getting pressure in a variety of different ways, and just someone that is a dominant force up front for that Jets defense to the point where it makes C.J. Mosley's job a lot easier. You can play freely as a linebacker when you have someone like Quinnen Williams that's just so many times right up the middle, that A-gap, just right through the middle of that A-gap, and just effortlessly getting through there, and then getting in the backfield and just blowing plays up for losses. So many times he did that on film. It's incredible what he's able to do and what he's became in the National Football League. It's good stuff from Quinnen Williams. 4 years, $96 million, well deserved because he backed it up with his play on the field. Was a really good football player for the Jets. Remember that Jets defense is the heart and soul of the team. And now things might change a little bit now that Aaron Rodgers, Allen Lazard, and Randall Cobb and Mecole Hardman showed up. So things might change this year, but that past year, it was all about that Jets defense, and they were tough. They were a physical defense. Quinnen Williams was putting the beating on a lot of guys, a lot of offensive linemen, a lot of quarterbacks. He's good at, even reading screenplays. When teams try to leak out on screenplays, he sniffs it out all the time. I mean, one of the best defensive tackles in the league, no doubt about that. Gets the big bucks. It's going to be around for a long time with the Jets, and it's an exciting time for the Jets. Things started to turn the corner because of Quinnen Williams. Does Aaron Rodgers go there if there's not some promise for the Jets? I don't know. Quinnen Williams last year made the Jets an attractive team because at least they had things figured out on the defensive side of the ball because Quinnen Williams was taking care of business. That's why Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets. That's why Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb followed Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. Mecole Hardman's there too. Without Quinnen Williams, I don't know if the Jets are an attractive destination for Aaron Rodgers, so they might not have made this jump that they're about to make if Quinnen Williams wasn't there. So a lot of this success for the Jets started with Quinnen Williams. It was him doing damage on defense, just blowing up offensive linemen, doing his thing on that defensive front. And then the Jets started to have some good fortunes. Then Aaron Rodgers follows. Now the Jets are a real contender. They're a Super Bowl contender. They're going to be in the hunt. Give Quinnen Williams all the credit in the world. He's a huge factor in all the success. Gets the huge 4-year, $96 million contract. Well-deserved for Quinnen Williams. And, the guy is a special football player. The other story we have is the Brock Purdy story. How amazing is Brock Purdy, man? And sounds like he's trying to be back for the regular season opener, too. I don't know if the 49ers are going to cut him loose and let him go or not. But if that's the case, guess who the starter is for the 49ers? It's Brock Purdy. I talked about how Sam Darnold will probably be the starter. Well, that was, with the belief that Brock Purdy would miss at least half the season or all the season. If Brock Purdy gets cleared and he's healthy to play, guess what? Brock Purdy is the starter. No doubt about it. It's not going to be Sam Darnold. It's going to be Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is the guy. And I'm still blown away by just what Brock Purdy did this past year. The guy is Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft. He's basically a nobody in terms of NFL. He was a nobody. He's the last pick in the draft. How many Mr. Irrelevants pan out? A lot of those guys get cut, before training camp's even over. Brock Purdy steps in, and he's just an exciting football player from day one. Just a smooth operator. I think that's the best way to put it. He's a smooth operator that is just so smooth at every single thing he does. The decision-making, being able to fit his throws in tight windows, being able to evade tackles and create something when there's nothing there. I think one of the best compliments you can give Brock Purdy, he brings out the best of George Kittle, and we know the 49ers are at their best when George Kittle is dominating like we all know he's capable of. Brock Purdy throws often to George Kittle. George Kittle has great production when Brock Purdy's on the field, and the 49ers are more dangerous. That's just a fact. So for Brock Purdy to be able to step right in as a rookie Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft, Not expected to do anything. You hope that he can make some plays for the team, just give you something. And instead, what's he do? He just completely lights it up to the point where he's a franchise quarterback. Now he is the starter for the 49ers. And now he's going to somehow make it back for the regular season opener. I mean, I'm blown away by Brock Purdy. It's still unbelievable if you ask me. All the things he's done, he just keeps overachieving. Kyle Shanahan helps a lot. Kyle Shanahan helped make Brock Purdy, but give Brock Purdy all the credit in the world too, because it's not easy to just step in and do the things that Brock Purdy did. I mean, he's a gamer. He can play. He can make all the throws. He's a good decision maker. He can get the ball out of his hands quick because he can read the defense, make decisions, and he makes good decisions. Like I said, fitness throw in tight windows. When you got to, laser one in between those linebackers, and those linebackers are good at jumping routes when you throw into their hook zones. Well, Brock Purdy was picking teams apart, hitting Ayuk, hitting Kittle, hitting Deebo Samuel, finding all those receivers and, fitting the football in those tight windows, which, a lot of times you see veteran quarterbacks do that. Sometimes these rookie quarterbacks, it takes 2 or 3 years before they develop a sense of what they can get away with and what they can't. Brock Purdy stepped in right away and was just lasering those throws into tight windows and making it look easy. It was incredible. Like I said, the George Kittle thing, he always throws deep to George Kittle. He lets George Kittle be a vertical threat and just go get the football. A lot of times after the catch, too, George Kittle can take off and run with it. He does some of his best work as a yak receiver, technically a yak tight end. But the yards after the catch are one of the strong points for George Kittle. And because Brock Purdy's taking so many shots deep with George Kittle, it allows George Kittle to play to his strengths and get after it after the catch. So I thought that was great work by Brock Purdy too, just cutting George Kittle loose and saying, hey, I'm going to take every deep shot I can to you, and we're going to open this thing up and play some vertical football. Brock Purdy is responsible for a lot of that. He brought out the best of George Kittle. 49ers were rolling. Like I said in the last episode with the halfback swing passes to Christian McCaffrey, the halfback wheel route. He was hitting Christian McCaffrey on those halfback wheel routes deep down the sidelines, which is another nice play down the field. I mean, Brock Purdy was dissecting these defenses, and when they did get pressure on him, he would step up and cause the pass rusher to miss and then hit somebody in a tight window. It's not easy to do those things. I mean, he's quick, he's fluid, he's sharp, he's a good decision maker. You just can't say enough good things about Brock Purdy. And if he's back, that's it for Sam Darnold. I don't see Sam Darnold beating out Brock Purdy. If Brock Purdy would have been out 6 weeks, 12 weeks or the whole season, it would have been Sam Darnold's team. Trey Lance would have took a back seat. But I don't see how you don't start Brock Purdy. You have to start Brock Purdy because Brock Purdy is the best option. He's the best chance at winning. That's just the fact. So a great story, a guy going from the last pick in the draft, basically a nobody, to a franchise quarterback, the number one guy leading a team to, he put life back into this team. He charged them up. He's a lightning rod for success because, at first everybody was just blown away by what he was doing. They couldn't believe that this Mr. Irrelevant was stepping into the starting lineup and making these plays. And not only that, after scoring touchdowns, just playing with so much passion and just, yelling in the end zone and just cutting loose and having so much fun to the point where everybody was feeding off of Brock Purdy because they were like, this guy is just playing on another level, and it was contagious. It was a positive contagious effect on that team. You know, I saw Ayuk feeding off it. I saw George Kittle having a blast. It made it fun for those other players to play with Brock Purdy just because it's like the underdog who is having success, and not only having success, just it's a breeze for him. It's not a problem at all. The stage isn't too big, and you know, when he got his shot, he took it and ran with it. And not just ran with it, he Olympic sprinter, gold medal, Usain Bolt ran with it. I mean, that's Brock Purdy. Great work by Brock Purdy. He wants to be back for week 1. Great news for the 49ers. I'm excited to see what Brock Purdy can do when he comes back. Like I said, there's high hopes for him because the guy is an incredible football player, from Mr. Irrelevant to a franchise quarterback. I'm John Kuzma. That's all I got for this latest episode of the Cross the Mill Show. Sign up for $1 per month and support independent journalism. If you love this show, if you want the episodes to keep coming, sign up. $1, $12 per year. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm John Kuzma. I'm signing off.